And now, as Marcus and his team still try to hunt down Abu Nakba and his inner circle and his operatives, they are being lured further and further across the planet, while it's a total diversion designed to get terrorists inside the United States to pull off the biggest mass casualty series of attacks in the history of the United States, exponentially worse than 9/11. That's the setup. The countdown is on. The clock is ticking down. May 16th is fast approaching. Marcus Ryker is almost back in his next amazing adventure. Hi, this is Joel Rosenberg of the Rosenberg Report. I'm in Jerusalem, and I want to give you a little update on our next political thriller, the Libyan Diversion. That's the novel, the next political thriller, the next installment in the harrowing adventures of my main character, my hero, Marcus Ryker. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. But you can pre-order the Libyan Diversion through TBN. You can, of course, also get it at any pre-order through any bookstore that you love, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, but you can pre-order it through TBN, and I would encourage you to do so if you make a contribution to the TBN ministry. Now, Marcus Ryker, who is he? Okay, first of all, he's fictional. For those of you who think, this is a real a nonfiction book, no. Marcus Ryker is a fictional character. And he is a former Marine, although I'm not sure you're ever former. He served in combat in Afghanistan and in Iraq. Multiple tours, wounded in combat, and commended and awarded for his bravery in combat, saving his friends, saving American lives. He moves back to the United States after being in those war zones. He joins the United States Secret Service and works up his way up all the way to the elite presidential protective detail. That's the elite levels of the American Secret Service that protects the United States, the American president and his vice president and his team. So that's what Marcus Ryker does, and he is also awarded for valor in protecting the president and the White House when it comes under a terrorist attack that occurs in the first novel in the series, the Kremlin Conspiracy. Now, the Libyan Diversion is novel 5, and what has been happening along the way. Well, again, I'm not going to give away too much, but you should know that Marcus Ryker is somebody who some very serious tragedy has befallen him and his family, and he's gone through pain and grief in his personal life and a lot of guilt. He has been battling this terrible feeling that he's invested his entire professional life, his entire adult life, in protecting his country and its leaders, only to fail to protect the people in his life that he loves most and that he's closest to, and that it was really his job to protect them. I won't go into all those details, but that starts right from the first book, The Kremlin Conspiracy, and works its way through the Persian Gamble, Jerusalem Assassin, the Beirut Protocol, and now here we are with the Libyan Diversion coming out May 16. Now what happens is that Ryker is essentially retreats from public life, from government service. But in books gone by, again, I won't get into all the details, he gets basically pulled back in, sucked back in to the vortex of the most dangerous operations in American spycraft. He ends up becoming a clandestine operative for the Central Intelligence Agency. His cover is that he's working for the State Department in what's known as the DSS, the Diplomatic Security Service. And that's the team that's sort of like the Secret Service, but they protect the Secretary of State and American diplomats and diplomatic facilities, okay? So all that to say, Marcus is becoming more and more well-known in the upper echelons of the American government because he's proven himself to be a very effective CIA clandestine operative. And he's in charge of hunting down and taking out the world's worst terrorist organization and its leader, a man who goes by the nom de guerre, his name of war, his war name, nickname, Abu Nakba, which is Arabic for the father of catastrophe. Now, in the Libyan Diversion, Marcus and his team are absolutely certain that they have discovered the main headquarters on the planet where Abu Nakba and his top echelon of terrorist operatives are holed up and are running these operations against the United States, against Israel, and against our other allies, our Arab allies, our European allies. And so he persuades the president, Marcus Ryker does, persuades the president to order a massive airstrike against this facility. Now, obviously, I'm not going to give it away. This is on the back jacket of the Libyan Diversion. But what happens is people think maybe this was a massive intelligence failure for which Marcus is going to receive the lion's share of the blame. That whole operation was is arguably a diversion where Abu Nakba has sort of lured the Americans, led by Marcus, into this trap to make it seem like this is where Abu Nakba and the terrorist leadership was, but in fact, innocent people were killed and maimed, and now this massive public relations blowback against the administration in Washington has got Marcus completely on the defensive. And now, as Marcus and his team still try to hunt down Abu Nakba and his inner circle and his operatives, they're being lured further and further across the planet, while it's a total diversion designed to get terrorists inside the United States to pull off the biggest mass casualty series of attacks in the history of the United States, exponentially worse than 9/11. That's the setup. It took me much of 2020 and 2021 to write the Libyan Diversion, but we didn't release it in 2022 because I'd already released 2 books during that COVID season. Enemies and Allies, my nonfiction book about my meetings with the kings and crown princes, presidents and prime ministers here in Israel and in the Arab world, and kind of where were we in nonfiction terms with regards to 20 years after 9/11, who are our enemies and who are our allies, and where are we going from here? So Enemies and Allies was my nonfiction release. That was in the fall of 2021, and then early in 22, right, we came out with the Beirut Protocol. So we haven't had another novel yet, but this is it. I had already finished it, but we waited until now, and it comes out May 16th, and I don't know, you'll be the final judge of this, of course, but I think it may be the most terrifying situation that Marcus and his team have ever been in. It's going to test his skills, it's going to test his courage, it's going to test his faith and his relationship with the love interest in his life, Annie Stewart. So the Libyan Diversion, it comes out May 16th. I'll be doing a book tour on media all over the United States, but I'll do it from here, from Israel, because we're going to continue to do the Rosenberg Report and All Israel News. So I got a lot of things cooking in May. But you can pre-order the Libyan Diversion. I hope you will. You will not want to miss Marcus Ryker's most terrifying adventure.